Hi everyone. Today we are in on the fourth or fifth episode on the in action episode, and I have here my friend Pauline. Pauline, how are you? Nice hoodie.
Oh, thank you so much. I just noticed we're both wearing grey. But but yeah, thank you again for having me, Francesco. I feel like we've collaborated a few times over the last few years, and it's so awesome to be here again, but to talk specifically about Gitpod, which is very, very exciting.
Exactly. So I'm sorry, but today will be very focused on this in action because this is the title of the series. So if you want to know more, and also if you want to see Pauline censored swearing, you can go on the link in the description. So hi everyone, and okay, Pauline. So please introduce yourself 2 minutes. I leave you to introduce yourself 2 minutes. Then we will start with the demo. So you'll try to convince me. I want to warn you that I'm super skeptic. I look friendly, but I'm super skeptic. So let's see. Let's see, Pauline. But best of all,
Yeah,
please tell me what have you done in the last 6 months,
yeah,
and then we can
absolutely.
start.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Okay, that is my main goal today, to try and convince you, Francesco, as a skeptic. But yes, hi everyone. I'm Pauline. I'm a community engineer at Gitpod, and I joined Gitpod around 7 months ago. So my role focuses mostly on building our community within Gitpod, but also it's in our developer relations team, and in as part of that team. I sort of wear a lot of different hats. I go on lots of live streams and do podcasts and stuff talking about Gitpod. And recently as well, I kickstarted a podcast around developer experience called DevExPod with my colleague, and as part of that I'm interviewing people who are interested in developer experience, and we just talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's such a fun podcast, and yeah, so yeah, within Gitpod, it's just been such a journey because we're growing so fast, and it's sort of overwhelming because there's I've never worked at a startup like this before. That there's so many new features, there's so many new people, and we're really shaping it to become a amazing company to work for, and also building the product to be an amazing product. But yeah, previous to that, in other interviews I've had with Francesco, I used to be a DevOps engineer and also a site reliability engineer in two different organizations. But since then, I've followed my heart into developer relations, and I feel like this is where I belong. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
And I think that we all agree that the developer advocate role it fits perfectly on you because you have so much you're so much energetic.
Oh, thank
Your way of
you.
we made a Twitter space about communication. My very first Twitter space it was with Pauline. So yes, Pauline, we can't talk for too
I
long.
want to.
So
That's it.
let's. Pauline is such an. I took like a random comment, and Gitpod looks wow, but I'm very skeptical. So I want to see. So Pauline, when you're ready, and if you finish your introduction, we can just step into this in action part. Hey Lokesh, hi everyone. I want this Gitpod hoodie. Yeah, me too. But there is a queue, Lokesh. So please.
There's a queue for that. Yeah. I also want to quickly show my Gitpod plant. It's part of our swag. Everyone loves this Gitpod plant. It's very good.
Yeah,
I show it off
nice.
in every stream.
Amazing, amazing,
All
amazing.
right.
Okay, perfect. Can we start? So with
Let's
the
go.
with the demo. Okay, so let's start with this cool website. And yes, please
Yes.
start, Pauline.
Okay, well, yeah, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and let me talk about Gitpod today. So, for those, whenever I talk about Gitpod to try and explain the point of it, why it's even around, I like to sort of go back to the beginning. So, why build Gitpod in the first place? What is the problem? What is our product vision? And as developers, we've always seen this issue and this problem around manually setting up our developer environments. It's not just about setting it up once, but also maintaining that developer environment. So many of us, I'm sure you can all relate just listening today, but we're constantly slowed down by the amount of manual tasks that we need to do. So for example, you've started a new Next.js project or a new JavaScript project, and you need to do an npm install to get all of the dependencies, and then you know, everything's great, and then the next time you open your environment, suddenly nothing works, even though it worked before. So yeah, the whole point of Gitpod is to remove that massive friction, because we simply just don't have the time and mental capacity to constantly be like treating every single one of our developer environments like pets. That's actually a saying in the infrastructure as code world. I think the saying is something like, treat your infrastructure as cattle, not pets. So don't take care of every single one of your servers to the point that you have that configuration drift. And you know, we found ways to remove that problem in the infrastructure world, in the servers world. You know, we now have infrastructure as code, you have Terraform, but how about developer environments? There's still that mess, you know, of maintaining them. So, and there's also the problem around, oh, this always works on my machine, but then someone's like, but it doesn't work on mine. So it's just really tedious. And that's why ephemeral developer environments, and aka Gitpod, is leading the way to improve that like experience for all developers. So this is sort of what Gitpod is all about in a nutshell. So I think, unless Francesco, do you have any questions about what I've said before I show you it in action?
I have just one super fast question. So do you mean that if I stop coding on Friday and if I come back on Monday, my environment will still work? Are you saying
Yes,
this? Because
absolutely.
I always had this problem.
Yeah, no, same. No, but that's the thing. Like, I don't know if you've had like a project at work where you finished it and then you're like, okay, I'm going to continue working on this feature after my holiday. And then 2 weeks go by, and then you come back and nothing works again. And then you spend 3 days trying to get it back to the state it was. And also there's a lot of mess when you're trying to, for example, you're a engineer working in a team, and you've got a new feature that you want someone else in your team to look at and to review, but then you need to change to their specific version and their specific setup for you to see the tests, for you to test the PR. And then you go into that branch, and then suddenly you need to like go back. When you finish reviewing that, you need to go back to your environment, and then nothing works because you've changed everything to fit the other PR, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's just really sort of that's the whole point of Gitpod and ephemeral developer environments. So you don't have to go through that headache all the time. Instead, we take the learnings from infrastructure as code and we bring them to developer environments as code. So you basically have, I'll show you in a minute, but like a configuration file that says, this is exactly how I want my environment to look like, full stop. And then every single time it will be reproducible, just like infrastructure as code. For example, if you have a Terraform file, you say, I want this Terraform, if I do a Terraform plan, I want it to create an S3 bucket, I want it to create an EC2 instance, whatever it is, and you get that immediately. And it's just basically the same thing here with Gitpod. But yeah, like, is there any more questions before I show it to you?
Yeah, maybe just one super fast question. Then when I let you start, like you have talked about, for example, AWS. So is this something that works only with AWS, or how does it work?
Yeah, so there's two different ways when you start Gitpod. There's two different ways that you can use it. So the first way is our SaaS offering. So that is what most developers use. It's literally they don't even have to think about the infrastructure, because we run their infrastructure for them. They don't need to look at anything else. And just to answer your question, it's actually not AWS for Gitpod isn't hosted on AWS. It's on Google Cloud. We use Google Cloud for this. But then, so that's one. That's like the SaaS option. And then our second offering is a self-hosted version, and you can actually we've got different guides on our website to show you the different ways you can install Gitpod on AWS, on like EKS, and on other platforms as well. My brain blanked there. Where else do we put Gitpod? But yeah, there's various different self-hosted options as well. So yeah, those are the two ways. But in this case, we'll just use SaaS, and that's what most developers use.
Perfect. Okay, I'm done with the questions for now.
Okay.
I'm still skeptic, but please go on.
I hope I have enough time to like change your mind.
Yeah. Go on.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, what I just wanted to describe this graphic as well. So this is a workspace that you open up on Gitpod. So once you start this workspace, you can see it's like a little cube with everything that you need to be a productive developer. So you can have all of your tools, your dependencies, and anything else that makes you feel like you can be productive. That includes like customization and stuff. So if I just show you, if we head over, so this is the Gitpod's like dashboard, and you can open a workspace either by looking for it on here, and it links to your GitHub account or GitLab or Bitbucket account as well. So in this case, I'll just open up the Gitpod website. I'll also show you how you can do that on GitHub as well. Let me actually open up a GitHub repos one. Okay. So as you can see, this is what Gitpod is. This is your workspace. And so there's a few things that's going on here. The first thing is this might be very familiar to you. This is essentially VS Code, and a lot of developers use VS Code as their primary IDE. But the thing that makes Gitpod different is that it's not just an IDE. This is not VS Code in the browser. This is Gitpod is sort of hosting your like resources to run this environment for you, and it uses the IDE as VS Code IDE as like the interface at the front end almost. So yeah, and as you can see, you can just get started and make any edits. I've opened up the Gitpod website that we were looking at earlier, and it's open source if anyone wants to have a look at it. But as you can see there, once I opened up the workspace, it has everything for me. I didn't have to do any installing of dependencies. I already have the Svelte plugins. This website is built on Svelte. I already have all the plugins that I need to just get started. So I don't even have to think about all of the other things. I can just go straight into developing. So what's the magic behind that? And briefly, earlier, I talked about the gitpod.yaml file. And this is sort of the magic behind all of the automation. So if anyone who's listening has heard of, like I keep mentioning infrastructure as code, it's a similar thing. You know, you have your Terraform file and you specify, I want this server, I want this database. And every time you run that configuration, it will constantly make the same thing again and again, infinitely. And it's the same sort of concept here. So as you can see, you've got a gitpod.yaml file, which does all of the magic. So let's just break it down very quickly. You've got your ports, and this says, we're basically specifying when we open this workspace in this Git context, which is the website repo, we want to open port 3000. And then once we open port 3000, we want it to open on preview. And this is the preview. As you can see, it automatically opened up. And then we also have tasks. And in this task section, this is where most of automation happens. You can specify what you want installing and what you need in your environment. In this case, we want to do an npm install. So we install all of the dependencies for our project. And because we've specified it here, every single time you won't need to do an npm install. It will just already be in the workspace for you. And then we've also got a command to do an npm run dev, which then again opens up the environment, your dev environment for you. So you can start making changes, and then this will update in real time. And that is the meat of the gitpod.yaml file. You've also got extra configurations here around pre-builds, which is a really cool feature. I'll try and explain it in a high level, but essentially, because you don't actually want the workspace to install the dependencies every single time, because it's just doing the same thing and again. How can we make that more efficient? And that's where pre-builds come in. And I don't know if you noticed, but as soon as we open this workspace, it already all of the dependencies had already installed. You didn't see npm install running. Instead, you saw that the task had run on a workspace pre-build, which then means the only thing it needed to do was run npm run dev, and it already has everything. And it opened successfully because it already has all the dependencies, so you don't really need anything else. So yeah, that's what pre-builds are for. Another cool feature that I feel like it deserves its own video, if I'm being honest. It's such a cool feature. And then this is specific to VS Code extensions. So in this case, as I said, anyone who opens our Gitpod website repo will automatically have all these extensions set up. So in this case, because it's a Svelte project, we've already got a Svelte extension, and we've also got a Tailwind extension that we need for our project, and it's already coded in this. So the next time you open the Gitpod workspace, it's already there. It's all set up. And yeah, so that's essentially what the Gitpod workspace is about and the automation is about. But just to demonstrate it to you as well, let me just open the website repo. Trying to find, I think this is one. Okay. So this is as I said, we're an open source company, and our website is completely open source, as is Gitpod. So if you want to have a look at that and maybe contribute as well, feel free to. But as you can see, I've got an open workspace here. But say I wanted to work on, I actually have an issue that I assigned to myself. It was about the blog. Yeah, DevX. So I also run a newsletter. And as part of that newsletter, I put it on the blog. And in this case, all I need to do if I want to start editing the blog, I can just click this Gitpod button. It's part of the Chrome extension that you can install, which is also available on Firefox. And literally all you need to do is click this button and you're starting a new workspace. But the thing that makes this different, as you can see, I opened this workspace on the main branch. But in this one, it's automatically created a branch for me. It's based on this issue context.
At the bottom left, you can see the branch.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, the bottom left there. And so now I've got, as you can see, I've got two workspaces open. So I can literally multitask if I wanted to. If I wanted to add stuff on here and then also work on a second feature, I can use this second workspace. And just to demonstrate that as well, I'll just go on gitpod.io/workspaces. And as you can see, this is the dashboard. I've got two running workspaces happening at the same time. And I'm going to be super productive now because I can look at two different workspaces, looking at the same code in different environments. Where I can work on two different features at once, at the same time, and it runs in parallel. And again, I can just keep creating new workspaces here, and it's pretty awesome. And yeah, so Gitpod is essentially that underlying layer that creates the developer environment, because I think a lot of people think it's just an IDE, another one of those playground environments, but it's not that. It's a genuine developer environment that you can throw anything into. And just to demonstrate that with you even more, if you go on our preferences, you can choose a browser editor and you can use VS Code if you like, but we're also looking, it's currently in the works, but we're also looking at supporting, we're supporting VS Code desktop support. So if you don't want to code, on the browser because you love your dev environment on VS Code, you fully customize it and you don't want to, bring those changes over to the browser, that's completely fine. You can stay on there. But when you open this, when you click on VS Code desktop support, there'll be a pop-up that opens up VS Code desktop on your laptop, but you almost have like a remote session to Gitpod. So you're using Gitpod's resources in the cloud. It's all in the cloud, all remote. So when you're running Docker, you can run Docker in Gitpod, by the way. But if you run Docker, you don't need to hear your MacBook's fans go flying because it's not your computer. You're using a cloud. You're just connected to Gitpod. And as you can see as well, we're also looking at supporting JetBrains IDEs, so IntelliJ IDEA, Golang, PyCharm, and PHP Storm, and there's so much more as well that we're supporting in the future. So I hope this also demonstrates that, again, not just an IDE, but a whole developer environment. And I think that is my quick whistle-stop tour, Francesco. Do you have any questions? I can see the chat has been moving.
Perfect timing. So first of all, thank you for this very fast demonstration. I like that. I have some questions, but you can start dropping your questions in the chat, and soon I'll also ask them. We have 10-15 minutes, so we also have some time to do something else. So one noob question,
Yes.
like I have a project, okay? I don't know. I have now, for example, I'm working on trying to create a local environment for some Solidity stuff. So it's something for me that I'm working with that, maybe also for a talk. So let's say that I want now to integrate Gitpod in my project. So what are the steps that you suggest to do? Because I know that there is that file, but for example, I don't know how to create that file. So are there templates, documentation? What would you suggest?
Yes, okay. To get started with Gitpod, it's really simple. You don't even need the gitpod.yaml file just yet. You can just spin up one even right now. So just to say about like documentation and content, we have our docs, and as you can see here, you can read more about the docs, and it just takes you through a journey of how you can really optimize Gitpod for your developer environment. But you can also watch videos, which is actually, I created most of the videos, so you'll see me again. And it's just a video showing how you can use. That's a plus. That's a plus. If you're not sick of my voice yet, you can listen to those videos. And we also, like I said, you touched on, Francesco, we also have quick starts. So we have templates. So if you don't have a project right now and you just want to try Gitpod, you've got these templates that you can literally open. But if just to answer your question, Francesco, as well, I've got so many. I'll just open I'm a bit embarrassed by my GitHub profile because I feel like I should have more projects. But in this case, for example, let me. This is a really old project that I did at a hackathon. It's really embarrassing, but it's not got Gitpods. It's not got Gitpod support, but we can open it together. And all you need to do is either you can install the Gitpod browser extension. So you have this shiny button here, and then you can click that, and then it opens a new workspace. Or if you don't want to install anything, you can just go to your URL and then type in https:/gitpod.io/hash, and that will automatically create you a new workspace. And then once that workspace opens up, it does something really cool and funky as well. I haven't opened this project in 6 years. Oh yeah, this is hold on, let me just open it in the browser. Yeah, I haven't opened this project in a long time. It's a hackathon project. Like I said, it's really embarrassing. So yeah, as you can see, I had no gitpod.yaml file before, but once you open a project in Gitpod, it automatically looks at all of your files, and it's like, okay, this file, this project is a Python project, so I'm going to automatically create a Gitpod YAML configuration for you, and then now next time you commit this, you have the same environment every single time, and it will always do a Python app.py, and it'll install all the requirements and stuff. And let's just see if this actually works. Oh my gosh, it does. This was a Christmas hackathon I did 6 years ago. Every single day, you have a new GIF. It's so embarrassing. This took
Amazing.
me 24 hours to build.
Nice.
It's embarrassing. But yeah, I hope that demonstrates like it's just an old project that I managed to open on Gitpod, and it automatically did all of the automation for me. And all I need to do to make that consistent is go on source control, commit this, and then the next time I open it up, it will automatically get started.
Nice. Okay, so let me make maybe some. I don't want to say mean questions, but because I'm honestly interested into that. So, for
Yes,
example,
absolutely.
this kind of like recognize a language. Like, what happens? For example, I don't know if there is a language which is not supported, or maybe you support all the languages. So, do you have a warning? Can you create your Gitpod.yml file yourself? So, what?
Yes.
For example, I don't know. Let's say that I created, I don't know, some Solidity project or some, I don't know, some strange language.
Yeah.
What would happen in that case?
That's a really, really good point. So in that case, let me just demonstrate to you what we would do in that case. So I'll just remove this Gitpod YAML file. So it's completely gone now from the project. And what you can actually do is we have a CLI tool, and you can use GP init, which means initialize. I believe it means initialize. That's what I always explain to people. But you do GP init, and as you can see, it automatically creates the gitpod.yaml file for you, and then you can just fill in the tasks. So init is initialization. So this task, I should have explained, happens before you start the workspace. So it will always try and do this before you even open up the workspace. And this is really good for things like installing dependencies, because you don't want to watch all the dependencies load whilst you just want to get ready to code. You just want to start. And then command is just anything after. Once the workspace has opened, once this whole thing has loaded, what would you like to see in the terminal? What would you like to start happening? So yeah, you can really, really customize it to fit your needs. And you can also specify the ports and stuff. And if you have like a really unique setup, you can also utilize our custom Docker images. So what you do is we give you a Docker file that you can extend, which is what Gitpod is sort of built on. So you can extend this Gitpod Docker file to install anything you want. So if you need a specific tool or a specific setup in any way, you can put it all in the custom Docker file, so that as that runs, it will run similar to the gitpod.yaml file. If that makes sense.
Yeah, was that a way just to convince me, or is that real?
I forgot. I forgot that you really like. Yeah, no, I promise it's. I promise you, it's
like
true.
that?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, oh yeah, I should mention Docker here. But yeah, as you can see, custom Docker images there. So
this is where you get me, basically.
Yeah, this is where I got you. One more trick up my sleeve. But yeah, so that's essentially what you can do. You can customize our Docker image workspace-full, and then you can add any tools that you want to it. And so every single time you create a new project, it will always use that Docker image, and your Gitpod YAML file as well. You can really customize it to fit your needs.
Nice. I have other questions. If I can see anything, I have some more of them. I don't know if you can go back on the project.
Yes.
A couple of things I've seen is. Do you have installed some Gitpod extension? Because I've seen that if you pass over with the mouse, you see, for example, an explanation of what are these tasks in it that command are. So
like this?
No, yeah, exactly. So to have this, I think you should have a sort of extension automatically installed here.
Yeah. So this is actually automatically in the workspace. So you don't need to install anything else. So as soon as you open up Gitpod in your project, and then you start using it, and then you do a Gitpod a GP init, yeah, you can hover over, and yeah, it's just part of the workspace itself. You don't need to install anything.
Nice. And for example, I see also, if you can see on the left, that you have also installed the Docker extension. Can you see the Docker?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So you also have the Docker extension. So What about the customization of this environment? Is this customizable? Can I remember? I don't know. I want to install, I don't know, material icons because I like a set of
yes.
icons. Okay,
Yes.
if I install an extension in this environment, what would happen? I have just this on this environment.
That's a very good question. Yes. So I should have mentioned, but if you have a specific theme that you like, oh hi Eddie.
Eddie,
Hi, Eddie.
we are planning to meet in the UK, so stay
Stay tuned for that.
stay tuned. Yeah. I know that you'll prefer to meet in Bali, but I think we will meet in the UK. So yeah, let's see.
We're all very jealous. So yeah, just to say, like, you can actually install if you have a specific theme that you want to use. You can find it on the marketplace, and then yeah, you can just install it. But to answer your question, Francesco, if you've got specific icons or specific settings that you have, and you want to share it with every single workspace that you open, what you need to do is you click on Manage, and then you see this setting here, Setting Sync On. What that means is in every single workspace that you open, that's the settings that you set up in this single workspace will always be tied to your account. So every time you open up a new workspace, it will always have this specific theme or specific material icon or whatever it is that you need for that environment. And also, if you work in a team, and I don't know, I've never worked in a team like this before, but I know some companies have this. If you work in a team and they want you to have a specific environment and a specific setting for everybody, then you can actually specify it here in the gitpod.yaml file. So for example, if I want to install, oh, I don't even know. Oh, here, GitLens is a good recommendation. If I want to install GitLens, nice. I can just install it like that, or I can also, oh yeah, hold on. If I install it, and then as you can see, where is it? Settings. Oh yeah, if I go on here, you can see there's this setting here that says add to Gitpod YAML file. Oh, there's a pop-up. Add to Gitpod YAML file. And if I add it there, we go over here, you can see that it's created a section, VS Code extensions, and it's referenced GitLens, the extension. And so whoever opens this will also have, you know, this extension in their workspace. So it's like, again, consistency, reproducibility.
Yeah. So the only thing is maybe I have to know, how this kind of EA modio.gitlens, maybe I should know what put here, or is that installed automatically here in the gitpod.yml? If I install it in this environment, does it appears automatically?
Yeah, it appears automatically in the next one. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So for example,
and it's good.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
No, I mean, so for example, if there are 3 extensions that I really like, GitLens, material icon, I don't know something else. If I save them, like I can also copy paste this somewhere, and then when I create a gitpod.yml, I can get the extensions just copy pasting that.
Yes, I believe that's possible. Yes, yeah. I believe so. Yeah. But I think that's the whole point of it. It has that. You can like reproduce it, can't you? But yeah, that's that. I think.
For example, I have this problem sometimes because, for example, I work with different projects, different languages. So usually my Visual Studio Code, I don't know, like I have, the PHP extension, the Python extension, the Java extension. It's terrible, and so nothing against Java, but I mean I have to install in VS Code is not the best IDE probably for Java. But I want to install to use VS Code because I don't want to install another IDE. Otherwise, I'll be dead, I think. So
so many.
Yeah, so you can create a specific dev environment for all your projects, also with the extensions.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So what you would need to do in this case, if you had like a Java extension, then you would add it to your Java project. And it's similar to what I showed, earlier. This is the Gitpod website, which is built in Svelte. And as you can see, there's a Svelte specific extension. And you know, on my account, I opened several different workspaces, but you don't see that extension come with me because it's specific to this project. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and now I see why people say that they like Gitpod, especially, for example, for open source contribution, because maybe
Yes.
you want to contribute to a project, but you don't want to install all the extensions, probably just for one project. So now I
Yes.
get why people, and now also why Eddie is here, because we have said the open source, and he jumped on automatically by
No
default on
matter
the live
what,
stream.
no matter what, we
Yeah,
just need to say open source, and then there's
yeah,
Eddie.
yeah. It's like Slender, but for open source. It's and yes, so okay, Pauline. So the demo went okay. You have answered all my questions. Let's go back here, and let me tell you thank you for coming. And I got an idea. To be honest, I was thinking about something completely different. So this was good. I was thinking like a replacement for Docker or something like that. Like, so in some ways it it can be used in a different way, but it's not like a deployment service. It's something, is a tool for developers.
Yes, yeah, for developer environments. Yeah. Who knows though? Maybe development happens in the future. Maybe that's a
Mm.
feature in the future. But yeah, stay tuned. Gitpod is growing.
I think she is trying to give some very soft spoiler, but without
No,
saying this.
no.
So at some point, say, Francesco, do you remember that I said that on your live stream
In the next time.
on the mid of February, and here we are. Nice, nice diagram. Hey, okay, Pauline, thank you for the explanation. Super short, super smart. You have. I don't want to say that you have convinced me 100% because I want to try things before we getting convinced, of course. But for sure, I'll try this with my hands. I also want to try with different projects. Probably I can use this either if I want to contribute to open source, or maybe try with something a little bit different. But let's say that in general, it looks kind of simple. So this is something that I liked. I don't know if there are like some pricing stuff, so maybe I should check that. So I'm still a
I,
bit skeptical about
I
that
can
part.
I can quickly say for pricing, we have a very generous free tier. It's 50 hours for public and private repos. So if you just want to give it a go, you won't be charged or anything for your first 50 hours.
Nice. Okay, so we have this charge per hour. So okay, it's cool. Okay, it's cool. So maybe the downside that I see that is maybe you should use this maybe in a professional way, but I think that you can let maybe your company pay for you. So this is the only downside. I usually give like honest feedbacks.
Yeah.
And okay, Pauline, thank you so much. This has been great.
Thank you.
I want to check the videos because I want to see how they are. And
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
thank you
no,
so
thank
much.
you. Thank you so much, Francesco. And if anyone has any more questions about Gitpod, just find me. I've got my Twitter there. And
I think
also,
I put that. Yes,
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 we have your tweet. We have your
yes.
Twitter account. I can also put this here, of
Yeah.
course. And
Yeah. And
yes,
also we have a Gitpod community at on Discord. It's gitpod.io/chat, and we hang out there all day, every day. So if you have any questions about Gitpod, throw them in there. And yeah, love to chat to you there.
nice, nice, nice. This is great. And the very last question before we go: is your background real or not? Because
It's real.
it seems fake.
No, it's real. It's real. It's real, 100%
Nice,
real.
nice. And are they all Gitpod plants who just grow?
No, they're all mine. This is the only Gitpod plant. One last flex. This is it. This is it.
Okay, nice, Pauline. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this episode a lot. I was sure about that even before starting, and yes, perfect. Okay, we are done for today, and yes, stay tuned. We have another episode next Friday. I think we'll see something strange with some like manual, like how to handle manually, like paint or like these other tools. So basically, you move things with your hands. I can't remember now the name of the person because I don't know her directly, but basically using something. But I'm super excited. But so let's see on the next Friday. And yes, follow Pauline, of course. You will never regret that 100%. Trust me, she's super energetic. Now she's also training workout. She does Instagram live streams. No, basically everything. I think I don't know what Pauline doesn't
everything.
do.
Yes, that's the best way to pitch it. Just do everything.
Yeah, exactly. Nice, perfect. We're done for today. Perfect. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye. Bye bye. Nice.